let's talk about waste. There's 2 tanks in the van, just like every other camper. There's a gray water tank and a black water tank. Black water is toilet water or sewage. Gray water is non-toilet water. So that is going to be sink water. If you do the dishes, wash your hands, that's going to go into gray water. Shower is going to go into the gray water tank. So typically gray water is soapy water, can be dirty soapy water, but you can get food particles and stuff in there, so it can be smelly sometimes. The gray water is located down here, just like most campers. If you've ever done larger campers, you're used to having these valves for both black and gray water. In this case, this is only gray water. So this is just a hose that I keep in the trasheroo hanging on the spare tire. This is a gate valve. You pull on it to drain it. Because this is only soapy water, some people will just dump it on the ground or open it so it's just open to a trickle if there's somewhere where it's okay to just dump on the ground. Otherwise, you hook up this hose if there's a dump site at the campground or wherever you're staying. You pull up next to it, and then you can just put this into the drain, pull that, and drain it. So again, that's gray water. Most people, if they have camping experience, they will expect this to be gray and black water, which it is not. The black water, sewage, is in here. This is a cassette toilet. Toilet cassette key is in front of the steering wheel in the storage compartment. Put it in here, unlock it, push these 2 buttons. I really like the cassette toilets, and I'll explain why. If you're camping for an extended period of time, or you're not around somewhere with like an organized campground with a dump to dump, and a traditional camper where you have to use the hose and you have to find a dump site, you're kind of out of luck, or you have to drive around and find one or break down your tent. This cassette I like for multiple reasons. This is your black water tank. There's a blue handle you lift up on. You pick it up. There's a handle to pull out. It comes out. This is 6 gallons. Yes, you are handling sewage, but you can keep this very clean and neat and tidy and not have an issue with it. What you do to empty this one is you can walk into any bathroom, anywhere, campground, parks, and just dump the contents down a toilet. And then I like to, since it's so handy, I'll hose it down, clean it with a hose, keep it very nice so that you're not handling anything nasty. Built-in tanks can sometimes get stinky, you can't really clean them. This one you can keep very clean all the time. I really like it. You do have to pay attention though, because of the smaller capacity. This will hold 6 gallons. You can just come out here. I recommend, if you're camping and you're actively using it, to dump it once a day, and then you never have to worry about it. Otherwise, you definitely can come out and just kind of feel if it's getting heavy. If you overflow it, you'll see it in the toilet, but it will come out of the tank and fill this area, and it's going to be very difficult and very smelly because this is just the floor of the camper and it's going to creep places. So you really don't want to overflow it, not only because you don't want to clean it, but you don't want the interior of the camper to smell like that. So keep an eye on it. There is a gauge on the toilet. I will show you that in just a minute. But this is how you get rid of your toilet waste. Once you get used to it, it's a really nice system. You're not tied to having to find a dump site or a place to dump it. You can dump it in any toilet. It's fantastic. And it stays nice and clean. You can keep it very nice and clean. So again, there is a lock for that key. You can lock that. I don't know that anybody really wants to steal your sewage, but they put a lock there just to make sure nobody does. Let's walk around to the toilet and look at that gauge. Again, it's one of those things. The more you dump it, the lighter it's going to be. It's just easier if you do it more often rather than trying to get every last ounce of capacity out of it and make it a mess inside the van. The toilet is located in here. There's light. And it's kind of awkward, but back here you'll see a little gauge. It's currently green. When it turns red, it's getting near full. So very simple, very obvious, but definitely take a peek on it. It will sometimes slowly get red. It might be half red. Once it gets full red, you know that you need to do something. This is the rinse button. That's gonna fill the toilet with water or rinse it after you flush. You'll see that. Oh, I don't have the water pump on now, so good thing to demonstrate. Up in this BM Pro screen, there is water. This is the home screen. To get to the home screen, you always click this home button, and then on this home screen, there's a button for the water pump. Water is now active, so now I can push this button, and you'll see it's filling with water. And then to flush it, you simply do this. What's happening here is it's opening the flush valve, and that's all going right in the bottom into the tank. If you flush this and it doesn't go down, it's either clogged, but since there's not really anywhere for it to get clogged, if you open that and it doesn't go down, it's probably full. So that's gonna make a mess, because at this point it's over full. When you try to remove it, what didn't fill in the tank is gonna go into that cavity. So really stay ahead of it, really stay on top of that gauge. If you're actively using the toilet, I would dump it once a day just to make sure.